Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Super Bowl podcast, episode number 46. We're excited to be back in the studio with a special guest today. We got Carson Ohland in the house from GCU Baseball. Really excited to dive into your story. We got a fun segment planned for the top half of the show. And, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
I know Carson.
Get into your guys' relationship. I'd love to hear how you guys met.
Yeah, so this is Carson's first year, and we're going to be able to touch on that a little bit. He's a transfer from Washington, but he's been one of the core members from our men's Bible study at FCA. We have about every team on campus represented, right?
I think so.
Close to that, but it's been super cool to walk alongside him, a brother in the faith, and getting to hear him and his story. And he actually got to speak this year at FCA as well, so excited to get into all that. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
And you kind of working through some media stuff too, right? We're using a little bit of your equipment today, actually.
Yeah.
So thank you for hooking us
Yeah,
up.
of course.
But hopefully people after this episode will go and follow you, because I know you're trying to become somewhat of a creator alongside your athletic career.
Yeah, I definitely have a passion for videography, and I think that's what I want to do when I'm done playing ball. And I found a way to kind of do a little bit of both while I'm playing baseball. So I know you guys want to talk about that probably, but
Definitely.
I'll leave it at that for now, and you guys can follow up with questions. So that's cool.
Well, we are not sponsored by Celsius, but I think Carson should be
yeah.
after he hooked us up. So
Come on.
we're getting amped for this episode. Let's get into the sports segment of the day. David, do you want to finally let Carson know what we're doing? Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know what we're doing here.
Sure. So,
Bringing something back.
yeah, this is the second time we were doing this. I know we talked about it even before you came on about Gabe McLaughlin, and we did this with him. This is basically, we are going to be reading you teammates' captions on social media, and your job is simple. Tell us which teammate it is, okay?
Okay, this is going to be good.
So
I'll try not to look.
we've got maybe
yeah.
five or
Five or
six.
six, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll just, I think, go back and forth.
Yeah,
Let's do
pinballing back and forth.
Yeah,
want me to-
I'll let you start.
Okay, cool. Bringing the juice into the postseason. Hashtag Lopomaha or something.
Lopoma. So definitely an upperclassman.
Lopama, I think is the
Lopama.
Lopama.
I like that.
I like
you guys,
that a lot.
You guys use that at all?
No.
Lopama.
No,
So
I
that's a
think
very
I
creative.
think that's a last year's thing. So definitely an upperclassman.
Ooh.
Bring in the juice and energy.
It's pretty. This is a kind of a tough one to start with. I feel like, because I feel like a lot of people could say this.
My first thought is Connor Madison, but I don't think it's Connor Madison.
That your final answer? This is gonna be.
We'll say Connor Madison to start.
It's not Eli Patton.
Okay.
Eli Payton.
Peyton. Sorry.
All right. That was a tough one.
Also,
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
They like to get you to second guess yourself. They almost always, these two, ask, is that your final answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
just
Maybe
go
it's good I
that's
stuck
part
with
of
that.
it.
Yeah,
For
go
the
with your
first
gut.
one. Yeah.
All right. This next one's kind of funny. Ben's starving, so I'm going to go get myself some gravy.
Man.
And this is tough, too, because we did this
These are
with
tough.
basketball where there's like
there's
15
a lot
guys
of
max.
options.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
there
guys
are a
got
lot of
40
options.
to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I at least get a hint if it's a pitcher or a position player?
Yeah, I can give you a hint. It is a position player.
Okay, position player. First thought is Eddie Pelk. I'll go with that.
It is Michael Diaz.
Okay. Hey, Eddie Pelk and Michael Diaz are definitely similar. So
Two peas in a pod.
yeah.
This is a hard one. So
This is
hard
tough.
segment.
If you-
I think if I
don't
get
know
one,
yeah.
I think if I get one, that'll be
We're going to call it a
successful.
W if you get
Yeah,
one.
for
Yeah.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. All right, next one. I like this. Someone grab the Febreze. Hashtag 3 things.
Hashtag 3 things.
See, this is flying over my head. I'm sure that's an inside
I have
joke
no-
that I
don't
don't
either.
understand, so it's got to be an older guy.
I feel like I remember this being a younger guy.
Yeah,
I don't have this
I
one on mine.
believe.
Let me go Emilio Barreras.
It's not.
Who is it?
It is Austin
Matranga?
Matranga.
Dang. Yeah, see, these are flying over my head. These are hard.
I mean, this is
Here's
tough.
what I'll say.
This
You're,
is really
you're
tough.
guessing. You're guessing the right people.
yeah, I mean, I'm
just to
close,
let you
I
know.
think, but
Just if that's a hint for you, you're guessing the right people. All right.
good.
All right. Your next one. Still haven't been to the Grand Canyon.
That's
That's it.
generic.
That's it.
Oh, dear.
Okay, there's a hint in there if you want to read that. There, I don't know if you see it on mine. Mine ends with hashtag year 2.
Okay.
Well,
So the year 2 last year, so it's their 3rd year.
There you go.
I want to say Zach York.
This one is a former Super Bowl guest, Brock Toney.
Oh, my goodness.
See, that's there,
This
though.
is
That's
tough.
there.
This is tough.
I figured you guys were going to put Brock somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Man.
That was,
0 for
His
4.
caption game could be better. I'm sorry, Brock. It could be better.
Still
was
haven't
calling
had
him out,
Shots
man.
fired.
That's
Dang.
it. Come on.
I mean, that is a classic GCU. Have you been to the Grand Canyon? You know.
Come on.
Well, I
Texas
mean,
right next.
Options are running out, so do you have any more? I mean,
Oh, we've got a couple more.
okay.
I've got one right here. Here we go. Hopefully it can be understood. I don't get it, but it's great. Here we go. The only person who can beat me is me
Whoa.
and my kidney stones.
Oh.
That should be
Hashtag
huge.
the state.
I know who this is.
Hashtag
Let's
Is
go.
it Amelia Barreras?
It
is.
sure
Let's
is.
go.
On the
Let's go.
board. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Do you have any more?
That's
I've
it.
got 2 more.
That's it.
You guys
go
didn't
for it.
sweep him. We almost swept him.
Nope. Hey, we on the
Back.
board. Let's go.
I got 2 more.
Okay.
The first one is, when life gives you bad hops, make great plays.
I love that. That might be my favorite one of the day.
Ooh.
This player said this in high school, just to
Oh.
let you know. This is tough. So tough.
You would think that's a younger player because they probably didn't scroll that far.
I don't
He's
think
got
it's
a
Zach
deep-
York.
Deep bag of
I
captions.
already
though.
got Emilio. Eli already went.
This is a pitcher.
This is a pitcher.
Ooh.
Talking about bad hops.
Yeah. So,
So
I-
they were.
I-
Oh,
a
okay,
stud.
okay. Is it Isaac Lyon?
It is.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay.
2 in a
Nice.
row.
You maybe
just
gave
like
it away a little bit there, but I'll take it.
You deserve hints with a roster.
Yeah,
this size.
I know.
Yeah, we got to
No,
curve
that's
it a
good.
little bit.
I was thinking about the infielders because of the bad hop, but that makes sense. Isaac played shortstop, I believe,
Oh, yeah.
in high school. So
That's
All right, last one. Stay cool, but don't freeze.
that's Eddie. Yep.
Wow, 3.
Yeah.
How about that?
That was finished
Struck
strong.
up there at the end.
Finished strong.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Reverse
That's good.
sweep there is what we call that.
Didn't look
Good.
great in the first half.
No,
No?
finished strong.
So clearly some personalities on the team. How would you describe this team? I mean, coming from UW, coming into GCU, how's the culture been? How's the culture switch been for you? And ultimately, how are you feeling about this year's squad?
Yeah, I would say that the guys here love to have fun. A lot of guys last year that I played with were just kind of mellow into their self. And we're talking about Eddie and Michael. I mean, those guys are so energetic, and they just look like they're having fun every single time they're out there. I don't know if that has to do with the Arizona sun or what, because in Washington it's gloomy and cloudy, and
I know, man.
yeah,
Washington.
yeah, and your mood is always down. But the guys just love being out there. They're just super energetic, love playing, and I've met some great guys and built some great relationships in just 1 year.
Yeah, totally.
If you had to guess, who's the biggest personality on the team, do you think?
Like I said, I think Michael Diaz and Eddie Pelk,
Those
they
two.
mash well together. They definitely have big personalities. They're older guys, so they kind of lead our team. They have personalities and big jokesters, always messing with people and having fun. And
And you're spending a lot of time with them, I would assume, in the outfield, right?
yes, exactly.
That's
Yeah, out in the outfield. Not too much time off the field, but with them on the field for sure. So
I mean, those days are long, man. I see you guys out there. I mean, you got your lift, but you guys are out hitting and doing your live ABs. I mean, long days.
yeah.
How do you get through that as a student athlete? I mean, some serious long days as a college baseball player, especially in season.
Yeah, we lift in the morning before class, and I would say just finding a routine that works. I love, getting up in the morning, getting to my lift, and then it's just the same thing over and over, I feel like. And once you get into a routine, it makes it easier. So I'll get breakfast after I lift and then go to class and then get to the field around 2:30, and then you practice. And then my girlfriend's here on campus, so I think she definitely helps out because we hang out after practice. So it gives me something to look forward to after a long day of practice. And then the sun, I keep going back to the sun. Like, it's so fun being out
awesome.
there. Like, man, last year's practices were so hard to get through because it's just wet and cold, and you're like, I just want to go inside. And out here, you're just, I mean, today we're hitting BP and we're out in the outfield shagging, and we have our shirts off and shoes off, just hanging out in the sun. And so that's super enjoyable, and that makes it a lot of fun too.
Well, you're allowed to enjoy yourself after a good win. We're recording this. I'm guessing this is going to come out in the summer, so hopefully after a great postseason run for you guys. Yeah. But this is coming after a big moment in the regular season with an 8-7 win over ASU last night. So you want to go through that game just because when you beat the Sun Devils, it means a lot down here. You're probably starting to recognize.
Yeah. I think it was 7-6, but I think yeah, you were close. one run game. It was a close game for
You
sure.
probably know better than
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. But I actually didn't play in the game last night, which I was kind of upset about. But like when you're winning, you can't be too mad. And like Michael Diaz and I have kind of switched off playing left field throughout the year, and he had an amazing game. And so, man, I can't even be mad. I just cheer him on and be the best teammate I can be. Be his biggest cheerleader, because he absolutely balled out yesterday. He hit a massive 2-run home run that we were talking about today, probably the furthest ball any of us have ever seen hit. It went over the net in right field, literally landed on the parking garage, and then next inning made a up against the wall jumping catch at the scoreboard. Yeah. And so I just was cheering him on like crazy and congratulated him on such a good game. And it was fun. I love being on a winning team. Coach Wallace does a great job, and we win a lot of games. And I haven't been playing as much as I probably wanted to, and compared to last year, I mean, I played a lot last year, but we weren't winning as much. So it's kind of a toss-up. You either are on a winning team with a lot of competitive, people playing your same position, or you're on a team where you're playing and there's not much competition around your same position. So.
Totally. I mean, it's good to have a deep team as well. As you guys move towards the postseason, there's going to be pinch hit at bats. There's going to be, filling you guys in with different pitching matchups. So I think it's a good thing if you're a GCU fan is that, we clearly have a deep outfield, right? It's going to be good moving forward. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into your faith journey. We'd love to hear about it. That's honestly the biggest reason why you're on, because we've heard so many good things about you. You want to start with FCA, and then I want you to kind of move backwards to how your faith journey began. Yeah.
FCA has definitely played a huge role in my life, starting from last year at University of Washington. I got involved with FCA there, and great people up there. And it was so amazing. We had a super cool house. It was called the Olympic House, and it was a bunch of Christian student athletes that lived there, and we would do FCA on Monday night there. And I met a ton of great people there. JJ, he was a great role model for me. He was one of the leaders for FCA, and he would do Bible studies with our baseball team in Seattle. And I knew going back for my sophomore year, because I was planning on going back to UW, I knew I was going to get involved with FCA however I could. And then the whole coaching change happened. I ended up transferring here, and I knew that I was going to get involved with FCA here. And then the FCA here has embraced me with open arms. Kelly has been awesome. Corey, Emmy, Dustin, all the guys, with FCA, just great people, great athletes all around. And FCA has definitely played a huge part in my life. And that's kind of been the last 2 years. FCA has elevated my faith to the next level. Going back, I grew up in a Christian family. My parents, we would go to church on Sundays, but it didn't really mean much to me at all. And I didn't take it very seriously most of my childhood. And I ended up moving away. So I grew up in the Seattle area for most of my elementary school. And then after my elementary school days, middle school, 6th grade, I moved to St. Louis, Missouri. And so I think that definitely changed me as a person. It built my character a lot, because just a whole new environment as a young kid was tough. But I met a lot of great people there. And then plot twist again, I ended up moving back to the same spot I lived in, the Seattle area, in Maple Valley it was called. So it was kind of interesting for me, because I knew a lot of people in 5th grade, and then I moved away and came back my freshman year of high school in the same spot. And it was kind of tough for me just finding friends, because like I had friends in elementary school, and then you come back and they're all freshmen in high school, and they're all different people for the most part. Like all of them have grown up, become different people. And, it just was kind of weird for me, because I was trying to find a new friend group, but like people I already knew. So it was kind of weird, but helped my character a lot. Met some great people in high school, but still for my faith journey, never took it very seriously, I would say, until my junior year of high school. And baseball was kind of the main factor that drove me into my faith. And I appreciate my parents for instilling that in me. They didn't force it upon me, but like, yes, we would go to church, and I remember going to things when I was a young kid. But yeah, when I got to my junior year of high school, like I said, baseball was the main thing that drove me to my faith. And the main thing was I started dealing with some anxiety stuff on the field. And that's super hard just as a baseball player, because it's such a tough sport. I mean, you fail a lot. and that anxiety can creep in. And so that was kind of the main thing. And so I started to dive into my faith a lot, and diving into it kind of made me realize, some of the stuff I was doing too just wasn't very good for me. It wasn't very beneficial for me. And so like one thing led to another, and I kind of just realized that, I needed a savior in my life, that I was in need of a savior, and I needed God's grace. And so my senior year of high school, I had a much better year on the baseball field. We had a great senior year. We took third in state, and I had a great run with my friends and buddies, and still started to build my faith throughout my senior year. But it wasn't really until my freshman year going to UW where I just totally took a full dive into my faith. And like I said, FCA played a huge role in that. And then since then, it's been a upward trajectory. I got baptized February 2nd, 2025 here on campus by Brian Beltramo, the baseball chaplain. So loving it, and loving FCA. I'm going to stay involved for my time here at GCU for sure, and learning a lot about God's character and continuing to build a relationship with Jesus.
Let's go.
Love it. I want to backtrack a little bit so junior to senior year of high school was where you would point back to where it all started?
Yeah, I would say for sure.
So were there certain pieces of scripture? Were there certain people in your life who acted as catalyst for you?
It's funny when you say scripture, because I remember the first time I can remember really like leaning on Jesus when I needed him most was during a baseball game. Actually, I was super anxious, and I remember repeating Philippians 4:13 in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really funny because like at that time I didn't really realize what it meant at all, and I was just saying it because I was like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I'm gonna do well this game. Like I didn't know what it meant, but I remember repeating it to myself over and over, just trying to deal with that anxiety that I was dealing with on the field. And that's the one thing that I remember was that scripture right there. And as far as people, I wouldn't say, none of my high school friends were Christians or anything. My mom, actually, for sure, my mom helped me out a lot through the tough times in high school. I remember, she was amazing. She would put little pieces of paper of scripture in my car and words of encouragement in my room, and write stuff on whiteboards and everything. Yeah, she was amazing, and she helped me through that. And it almost felt like she didn't really know what to do, but all she could do was just be there for me and just help me out, encourage me. And I remember having stacks of these pieces of scripture and devotionals that she would give to me. And so my mom helped me a lot too.
So that junior year, it seems like this anxiety that was built up, I'm guessing based off of just struggling and just, such a mental game. Mm-hmm. Like baseball is maybe one of the most mentally taxing games because you can go on slumps and it can just screw with you for weeks, for months. Is that what that kind of came from? Is that where the anxiety came from, or was the anxiety creeping in from outside of baseball and then affecting your baseball?
No, it's for sure baseball just being such a tough sport, but also I would say that I was talking to college coaches from such a young age. Like I played really well. We can kind of backtrack to like my freshman year during COVID. I didn't really play, and then go back to 8th grade. This was when I was still in Missouri, and so that summer I played in St. Louis in the Midwest. And then freshman year happened, and that summer of my freshman year, we weren't playing in Washington. They had shut down like everything in Washington, so we weren't.
I know it, man.
Yeah. So
I lost my senior year of high school baseball in Washington.
Yeah. So
sucks.
We weren't playing at all. We weren't even playing summer ball. Our high school year was canceled my freshman year, and then summer ball I wasn't playing at all. And so I got in contact with my coach from the team I was playing with in St. Louis the year prior. And so my freshman year summer I went out there, and I was playing really well. And that year was kind of the first year I started having coaches talk to me, and I would say that became a big factor for anxiety for me, was like trying to fit up to this standard of perfection that I thought these coaches had on me. And like these coaches were talking to me about, hey, you could possibly be a Division I baseball player here at our school, and I put a lot of pressure on myself that was unwanted, and that I think seeped into my own game. And when you're thinking about not messing up, you end up messing up, or you get in your head and it can spiral quickly.
Certainly.
So I would say that for sure. And then I I talked to a lot of schools throughout my freshman year, and I ended up committing to Washington the summer of my freshman year, right before my sophomore year. So I hadn't played a high school baseball game yet. So I'm super young, super immature, and I'm committed to a Division I school. And this was the biggest thing for me, right? Like it was like huge for me. And so that led to unwanted pressure, and I was wanting to be, the hometown kid from Seattle, going to UW and be this superstar player. And I put way too much pressure on myself and tried to, get up to this perfect standard, like I said, I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to be myself.
Well, before we go any further, I really admire that humility and that honesty there, because I think any freshman in high school, anyone coming off 8th grade going into freshman year, before you even played a high school game, and already being committed to a D1 university, and the one that everyone knows right in your local area, I think anyone would have struggled with the pressure and the anxiety surrounding that. So, yes, I admire your humility and honesty here, but also it's I think anyone in your shoes would have felt that as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, crazy amount of pressure, and it's I think just even as a fan perspective, somebody who didn't play college sports and really much high school either, just the thought of we almost treat these kids as professionals, you know what I mean, as where they're going to go, what they're going to do. The transfer portal, as all of you know, has created such an incredible pressure situation almost of trying to do what's best for families, and there's a lot at stake from kids who are 18, 19, 20 years old. It's just an insane amount of pressure. I guess a question I would have for you is what would you say to maybe a high schooler who is in that spot right now, right? Who is going to be, going to college here soon. I know we're a lot of high school graduates coming up now, and it's here's the big step, right? How would you describe, I guess what piece of advice would you give to somebody maybe as a Christian athlete, right, trying to get in their faith? What does that look like moving into, whether it's baseball or another sport at a Division I level? How did you make that switch?
Yeah, I would say for any high school athletes that are going to play college athletes, I would say that it's not that big. We blow up things to be way, way bigger than they are. Your worries, your anxieties, all these things we blow up way, way too big. And I remember getting on campus, and even this year too, I continue to notice it, that it is simply the same game that we played when we were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. It is a simple game. It is a fun game. We play it for fun, and there's no reason to make it as big as we do. And you play these big schools, Division I schools. I remember playing University of Texas last year and being super anxious for that game. And I remember getting there and you hear the University of Texas name, you hear SEC, big school, lots of fans, and you get there and you see them warm up, and you're like, wow, these kids are just a little bit better than high school kids. They're the same age as me. They're doing the same thing. They were good high school baseball players, but it's still a game. They still mess up. They're not perfect. They're not. I mean, yeah, we make it way bigger than it needs to be, and I learned a lot throughout last year and this year about that.
For sure, and I think a large part of athletics is wrapped into people's identities. And I know we've talked a lot about it in FCA and the men's studies, just it's so easy for something that our athletics is so tied into our routines, our identity, the people we know, just our everyday life, that naturally I think anyone would associate that with their identity and their purpose. And so I love that perspective, though. It's still the same game we learned as a kid. It's just a higher stage. That's all it is, but it's still the same fundamental game. But it was never meant to define you or consume you.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a gift, and we can kind of get into that here in a moment, but we know that sports are a gift from the Lord.
Yeah. And
we know as Christian athletes, it's another platform and opportunity to share his glory through the avenue of sports, and that's a big thing we preach here on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it seems as if, I remember you mentioning senior year, things did go very well on the field. Would you attribute that to, the beginning of your faith journey, starting to find peace within mistakes and within things not going your way the year before, and kind of moving away from that anxiety? Do you think that, attributed to your success your senior year?
Definitely. You talk about identity, and when you struggle at something, and that's been your identity your whole life. For me, baseball was my entire identity, my whole life, and everybody in high school knew me as a baseball player. Like, I would go to these showcases and get ranked the #1 baseball player in Washington, best catcher, all these different things. I actually caught in high school, and I play outfield now. But that was my identity, was the #1 baseball player in high school, and that's all anybody ever knew me for.
Yeah.
And that definitely affected me when that started to crumble. And when I, like you said, had failure on the field, or start overthinking stuff, and your identity fails.
Yeah.
And so finding my identity in Jesus from my junior to senior year was huge for me. And I would definitely attribute that to my identity changing from being in my sport and being in the world to being in Jesus and learning more about him, and finding my purpose in building a relationship with him. Because it was crumbling, and then went into my freshman year at UW, and it kind of crumbled again, because I don't think it was only a year. I was still fresh in my faith, right?
Sure.
And you have to build that foundation over a long period of time. And so it kind of crumbled again, and then since then built back up again, and I'm on this continual journey of building my relationship with him.
I think
Sorry.
it's like it's a very practical thing I think the Lord allows us to do. I've said this before, and it sounds a little harsh, the wording of it, but it's like the saying, it's like the Lord gives us enough rope to hang ourselves with. Mm-hmm. It's like we can go in any avenue of life. It can be money, it can be a professional, it can be sports, like whatever, like all these different disciplines. If you make that your identity, you're eventually going to fall, because it's temporary, the success, there's ups and downs, no one's perfect. And so I think the Lord allows us to put all of our weight, all of our identity in things, so that we can eventually return to him and realize that our life was never meant to be founded on anything else but him. There's nothing else that's going to be able to sustain us, fulfill us the way that he can.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, we have a God-shaped hole in our heart, right? From the very beginning of wanting to be loved and seen. And man, it's a God-sized hole for a reason, right? We try to fill it with a lot of different things, and these are good things. Let's be real. Sports, athletics, people. These are abilities for people to provide for family, and these are jobs. We're talking relationships. These are great things, but man, it's only the Lord can be the fulfillment, right? He can be the one that brings the joy and the peace. And I think it's so cool, just your story and hearing that, and hearing how, I know we're all passionate about college students because we just came from it, right? And just how crucial that time of life is, experiencing just life on your own, right? And then it's you kind of have more to think about, right? Your family, sometimes isn't right next door, and it's who am I going to be, and I just think it's so cool how that's kind of been, really a big part of your story. And I guess my question I had is now, obviously you're not perfect. I'm sure there's still the battle of identity between, keeping it in the Lord over, the game of baseball. But what does that look like now? How does maybe game day routine play into that? Do you have different types of things that you try to do to kind of center your mind on Christ before games or practices or whatnot?
Yeah, routines for sure. Before a game, a home game at least, we'll go out and hit batting practice, and then we'll come in for 45 minutes to an hour while the other team hits batting practice. And that's kind of my time with the Lord. I love putting my headphones on, and because the guys will be blasting some crazy rap music that I don't necessarily like listening to, so I'll put my noise canceling headphones on and throw on worship music. And if I'm feeling anxious or led to read my Bible on my phone that day, I'll do that. And that's kind of my time. I love that time before a game, because it just recenters my mind. I stay off social media as much as I can and really just refocus my attention to him before I go out and play a game. So
I think it's also cool just hearing your story about the hills and the valleys of your faith walk, and it really does correlate to baseball and probably every other sport. But I think about just the slumps and the high and the hitting streaks that you might have, and then I haven't gotten a hit in four games. It's just cool how that correlates, because it's just there's just hills and valleys that the Lord lets us go through for reasons. We're in a slump for a reason, because I need to teach you this for a reason. Sure. But also, I just think, man, how many times are we gonna hear this every episode from athletes? As soon as I finally had the peace that the Lord's will be done.
Yeah.
In my identity that might be baseball right now. As soon as that identity starts to shift towards I'm a believer that plays baseball from I'm a baseball player that plays baseball.
Yep.
All of a sudden success follows. I mean we hear that week after week, month after month. Every single athlete that comes on here has the exact same story. It's almost like it works. You know what I mean? And I hope for viewers, and if there's young athletes that are about to get into this moment, or athletes that are still in the thick of it in college or high school athletics, maybe going pro, just remember that the identity is the big thing, because success will come as soon as you free yourself up and take that pressure away.
Sure.
And I know that's very apparent in your story, and it's just I hear the same thing in different ways from these awesome athletes that come on each week, and man, I hope that's a great takeaway each time everybody watches.
No doubt. And like, even if that success doesn't come, right? Say you do, and maybe sports isn't meant to be.
Right.
You are now fighting from victory, not for victory. It's not this fight to be the best and fight to be great. It's like you already are because of who died for you. You know what I mean? And like, that's where your identity is. And then it's like, at the end of the day, I'm loved and chosen no matter what happens, and it's just freedom. That's where the real freedom is, of like taking the weight off our shoulders and being like, it's okay that I can't. And I can't live up to the standard in my own head and the standard that we needed to go to heaven, quite frankly, right? Like, we all can't meet that standard. And that's why Christ came for us. And man, that just, it changes everything as far as perspective and frees us up in life, bigger than even sports, right? Of just like, we can go through our daily life and now have peace of knowing, man, no matter what, like, I know I'm a child of God and I know where I'm going. And now it's just, you're fighting, from victory and not to it anymore, Yeah. Victory's ours.
It's good stuff. Well, let's talk about off the field. How does your faith journey affected, other stuff other than baseball? I know you're in a deep relationship right now that's been building, that you've been able to continue at school, which I'm sure has been amazing. What are other opportunities looking like outside the diamond?
Yeah, so I have a girlfriend of 4 years. Her name's Mia. We started dating
Mia.
Yep. Yeah. We started dating our junior year of high school, and she came here to GCU our freshman year. And so we did long distance our freshman year while I was at UW. And it was definitely tough being apart from each other for a whole year after being with each other all of high school. And I remember every time she would come back, because she came back a lot because her family was still there. Okay. And as the year went on, every time she would go back to school, it'd get harder and harder. And it's pretty crazy, because I was planning on going back to Washington with that coaching staff there. And it was July 20th, around there, when our head coach ended up texting us and being like, hey, I'm leaving, like, I'm going to Texas A&M, and our whole coaching staff ended up leaving, and like 15 kids transferred. And I was like, whoa, like, I was planning on going back to Washington, and an opportunity opened, like, maybe GCU, like, I won't lie, GCU definitely was at the forefront of my mind when I was thinking about transferring. And I don't love saying that Mia was the only reason, because people are like, you just went for her. But she was a reason for sure.
Had a big reason.
Yeah, it was a reason for sure, but there was a ton of other factors into it. Obviously, the Christian environment has been absolutely huge for me. Like, man, I'm so happy here. I mean, Seattle was great, but being at a University of Washington school like that, you don't have much of that outside of FCA. Sure. So having so much community here at GCU, being on an amazing baseball team with a lot of success has been awesome. And yeah, so I'm super glad I'm at GCU now.
How had the year of distance with Mia strengthened you guys now in your relationship? What are some things you guys learned during that year that you think helpful for now?
That's a good question. I would say we both had to rely on our faith. While she was here, she definitely felt homesick, I think, while she was away from family for the first time in her childhood. And I was struggling a little bit at Washington last year, just throughout the season. And so we both had to rely on our faith. And now this year, our faith is stronger than it's been. And I think last year played a huge role for that. And it has affected our relationship for the better. And we put Jesus at the center of our relationship. And we both are committed to doing that and building a relationship with our Father before each other, and that just has led to such a great relationship, and I'm so grateful to have her.
Amen.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's normal to maybe even start a relationship outside of that, but then you see how much better it can be when you do give it to the Lord fully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even our friendship, the three of us, we came together as friends first before God was even discussed or brought up, and man, our relationship grew just as friends when we allowed God in, and He just kind of set it on fire. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I can only imagine that's amplified in a relationship. So good for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even just, I mean, I look back as how crucial that time probably was for you doing distance, and just how you can look back at that. And I think, obviously we don't know exactly how God moves and what He does certain things for, but clearly in this instance, right, like your faith was strengthened, and I think the Lord was teaching both of you to put Him first, right, and then everything else will be added.
Yeah.
And like right there is a really, really cool way. And so anybody who's doing distance, I don't know, it could be something cool. It's not me, but
I
mean, my oldest sister and my brother-in-law now, they did distance from Texas and Tennessee for about 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years. But there's like a lot of instances of older married couples that I hear that went through periods of distance, or maybe just some sort of breakups or hardships. Oftentimes those are the defining moments, and the Lord uses them to strengthen and grow relationships.
Yeah.
Even though it's not necessarily the most fun thing to do, going through it. And I think we can zoom out and talk about hardships in life. Oftentimes they're what the Lord uses to strengthen and grow the fruits of our faith, things that we wouldn't have otherwise learned unless we went through those obstacles.
Definitely. Yeah.
I got a cool thing I'd like to hear everybody's thoughts on. I mean, because we're talking about the trajectory, because we can always grow in our faith with the Lord. It's never going to be perfect. There's always something we can be striving towards. And I think about spiritual disciplines. I would love to hear what a spiritual discipline that you may be trying to instill into your life, or something that you may have recently that's helping you grow. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well, because I think that it could be great for viewers to hear as well. As we just got four young guys here we're just trying to grow. We're just trying to continue to get to know the Lord better, and it takes disciplines for sure.
Yeah, it's not easy. Sometimes you don't want to get up and read your Bible. You want to sit on your phone, scroll through social media. So it's not easy. But I would say, for me, finding like on the Bible app, there's plans that you can go through, and they can help you stay accountable, because it says in the corner how many days you've missed. So for me, like I love staying on top of that, because I like getting things done. I mean, even with like schoolwork and stuff, I try to stay on top of that. So like when I put myself in one of those plans, I like staying on top of that, and it keeps me disciplined to read a few chapters each day. And I'm actually going through the Bible in 6 months right now, because I've never read the Bible cover to cover, and I'm a little less than halfway through. So, and I am a few days behind, so I need to catch up on that.
How many?
How is
chapters
that?
It's about around 4 to 5 chapters a day.
30, 40 minutes? How long would you say?
Yeah, I'd say 30 minutes. Some days are longer than others, but yeah, it's really not that bad. And especially when you spend most of your day like scrolling on social media, it's pretty easy to find some time to just take time away from Instagram and just go to your Bible app and just read the Bible on your phone.
Yeah, can we cut 30 minutes from our 5 hours of screen time?
Yeah.
Right? It really is fairly simple. Like it's doable.
There is enough time today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would also, just going off that, I would say for any viewers watching, try to be practical with your Bible reading. Not saying that just diving in somewhere random is a bad thing, but I would say being a little more calculated and having some sort of plan to stick to will allow you to be more consistent and find more fruit from reading it.
Yeah.
Rather than just jumping around, going all over, because sometimes it's really hard. If you go in chronological order, you're going to be confused.
Is that what you're doing? Are you going straight through, or is
I'm going straight through, and honestly,
Old
that's
Testament right now.
Yeah, that's not
Leviticus.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the best advice. I mean, if you're a new Christian, obviously, the Gospels and the New Testament to learn about Jesus.
Yeah.
But for me, I'll on top of reading cover to cover, we'll do our Bible studies, and I'll read through the New Testament every once in a while too when I need it. But yeah, going back to the Old Testament, you see Jesus in everything in the Old Testament, and everything from back in the Old Testament points to the New Testament. So I'm just seeing a lot of connections, which has been cool.
We hear this so often from even guests. I mean, I feel like Kelly definitely mentioned this. I think Brian did too. We had Beltrama on. I'm guessing you know that. But even just the act of reading through it, like, you know, because this is something I battled when I'm reading is, am I really fully understanding every word? Like, I'm so calculated, and I'm like, how can I take each verse and learn something from this today? But sometimes it's just good, and we've heard this, just to read through, build that consistency, open or invite the Lord in every day.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, all of this stuff will just come back to you in times 100%. When you need it. So just reading it is a great start if you've never even attempted to read it at all. Even if it's not making a whole lot of sense, if you can go cover to cover at least once, then you can get into those more calculated plans. But just the benefits of going cover to cover is big time. Yeah, I mean, just kind of to second that, coming in with an open mind, right? Like, the Lord knows your heart. He knows your schedule. He knows there's a lot going on. He knows life is sometimes, like, for example, when I first became a all-in Christian, I was just like, all right, let me read like 6 hours a day or something, something crazy, right? I'm like, I want to do this all the way through, and it's like, how practical is that, And it's like, that's okay, like, because sometimes reading for 5 minutes and having this quiet time in the midst of chaos, like, maybe that's where there's really that peace and transformation that happens, and when it's not easy to do, And I think about the same way with even giving, right? Where, the poor widow gives her like 2 cents or whatever, right? Yeah. And Jesus is like, that's the biggest, gift that I've seen been given, basically, right? And so the same thing with our time, right? Like, the Lord knows your schedule. He knows things are crazy, but it's like, how can we make time for Him every day, even in the little things, like car rides, cool opportunity before bed, like just these little things throughout our day. I think that's where really it doesn't have to be this crazy set rigid schedule, and that's something I've battled with. Is I can feel like I need to check off a box, but it's like, in reality, that isn't what it's about. It's about spending time with our Creator and being fully engaged to the best that we can. Yeah,
I was going to say some encouragement on that is that, like, spirituality is super slow. I've learned that recently, is like, you don't just wake up one day and win the spiritual lottery and be like, oh, I know everything about God. And, it's not like that. It's the same with a lot of things in life. I mean, I think about lifting too. You don't just go in the gym for a week and all of a sudden you're jacked. Like, it doesn't happen like that. So even reading a chapter a day for a long time can do amazing things to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. Like, success is never linear. It's always up and down. Consistency is probably the most important factor out of all of it. Yeah. And I'll take the chance just to go into the next spiritual discipline that I was thinking of. I would say solitude and quietness. Just and you can take that, you can interpret that in a few different ways, but I would say the biggest thing for me is just like getting away from screens. I've been telling David and Norman this recently, like, I try to have the first 4 or 5 hours of my day away from my phone. And so, like, I know if I wake up early enough and look at my phone around 12 to 1, that's still probably enough time to reach everyone that I need to reach to throughout the day. But also that first 4 to 5 hours I can use to give the Lord my first and best in my quiet time, in my studies, and just like my peace of mind. And then I'm ready to attack the rest of the day, whatever the day has for me, whatever the Lord has planned. And I would say that's huge for anyone watching this, because we live in such a technology-driven society where, man, like, any of those apps, they're designed, literally, you're the consumer, and their job is to get you to be on it as much as possible. And so they are literally wired for you to waste time on it. And I think detoxing slowly but surely, you shouldn't cold turkey because that's probably not practical, but I think something that's been huge for my spiritual health right there.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, absolutely. I think we can all take something away, whether there's that 30-minute period before bed and morning, right? Like, what do we do with that time? I think for me, something that I've been working on is just worship. Throw some worship music on. And it's like just trying to sit kind of in that solitude of just really reflecting, not just hearing the song go in and out one ear through the other, like really reflecting and just being like, putting my heart in a place of gratitude I've heard it said a lot about kind of this anxiety and gratitude, right? They kind of can't go hand in hand at a certain point, of like when we're grateful and when we're praising the Lord and just solely dependent on Him, it's like we have all that we need, and it's just a very cool like place to get my heart, because some days, man, it gets chaotic, whether it's a crazy day at work, there's a lot going on, obviously just personally, and like, man, it just can get so easy to forget the blessings we have right now, health in general, just starting with that, right? Like, man, it's just, it's I found it to put my heart in a really cool spot and to just point up rather than to be like, so I guess self-centered, and because it's so easy to be, my world revolves around me, but it's like, really, I'm a small speck in the grand scheme of this giant plan that the Lord has orchestrated, and I'm just so blessed that He's even been able to use us, right, to be able to fulfill His plan. But it's just leaning into the source, right, leaning into to Him.
I think about sports, and I don't want to put it on a pedestal because it's a thing of this world for sure. But man, it's cool to see how it builds disciplines in athletes.
100%.
I think athletes have such an advantage as far as leaning into a spiritual discipline because you guys build routines, it's something that can come normal, like it comes as a normal thing to you, to athletes. Whereas there's other people that have to really build that if they've never had to get up and lift every morning or go to practice every day. That can translate pretty well. So I do think athletes have an advantage. I think that's why we see a lot of athletes getting into ministry, that have been in ministry, that turn into pastors, that are strong in their faith. So to the athletes out there, I think you really do have an advantage. How can you turn this discipline in your sport, in your field, into the spiritual space, and slowly maybe add more and more time to your day, because it'll come more naturally. I truly believe that, and I would guess that you guys would agree.
Sure. Yeah. Dan Gertis?
I don't think I do.
In the athletic department. Anyways, he's a mentor of mine, and just piggybacking off that, I met up with him a couple times after I retired about a month and a half ago. Retired. That's right.
Wow.
Shout out GCU Swim and Dive. Anyways, the whole point I'm trying to make here is he challenged me to think that all the skills and disciplines that we develop over our years of sport, they were never meant to be used just for sport. They were meant to be transformative for us to use in whatever calling the Lord has for us after. So like the discipline, the self-control, the determination, the hard work, all these things that we've had to develop to be successful at this level. I've challenged myself with using those skills for my quiet time, with using those skills for my Bible reading, for my intentionality with others. And it's just like, man, the Lord really shows you like why that part of our life, athletics, has been so transformative to who we are and who He's called us to be later on. So
that's good.
Well, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I'd love to hear, what your short-term, long-term goals are as far as your faith and something that you're striving to do in the months, the days, the weeks moving forward here. What's something God's putting on your heart to work on? What's something God is putting on your heart in general?
I would say with the role I've been playing on our team this year, it's been a little different compared to last year. Like I said, I haven't been playing as much, but I've been able to be a light for my team for sure. I've had moments of discouragement where I feel like I don't have any impact on the team, and I get reminded by people around me that like I do have an impact. And I mean, even Easter weekend on Good Friday, our coach ended up texting me before our game and said, "Hey, you want to say a Good Friday prayer for our team in the lobby before we go?" I was like, absolutely.
That's
so
cool.
Like little things like that, I've been able to plant seeds on guys on our team, because we really don't have a ton of believers on our team. We also obviously have a few, Brock Toney and Elijah Higginbotham is another pitcher that are strong in their faith, but some guys are not leaning into their faith at all. They don't believe it or whatever it may be. But even just like praying for the team before games, I've been able to do that. All the guys, like we get in our prayer circle, they're like, "Carson, let's go." Like they know, like they're pointing to me every time. And
that's awesome.
I've had a few conversations. I mean, even after our the Good Friday prayer that I had, one of our coaches came up to me and was like, do you want to be a pastor when you get older? And I was like, I don't know about that, but I definitely want to get involved with FCA and whatnot. But I've been planting seeds on this team for sure. And even Beltramo and Bennett, Brian's son, have encouraged me with the things that I've been doing on this team. And if I don't see any fruit from any seeds that I've been planting on our team right now, I don't understand what could happen in 5 to 10 years from now. Like, I may get a text from, social media is so easy to communicate with people. I might get a text, a call 5-10 years from now from someone on our team that is like, Carson, why did you act that way on our team? Like, why didn't you get mad when you went 0 for 5? And like, why weren't you slamming your helmet? I'm like, because this game is so temporary. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing right now for something way bigger than just succeeding and on the baseball field. Like, I'm doing it for the kingdom. I'm doing it to build disciples of all nations. Like, there's a way bigger purpose in what I'm doing, and I know that there's going to be fruit from that, even if I don't see it right now.
Well, you're going to. I can tell you from personal experience, as long as you have that mindset, you are going to hear from guys. You are going to hear from teammates down the line, and that's going to be such a cool thing. Yeah. So keep doing what you're doing. Bring the Bible. Hey, I want you to bring the Bible in those moments when you said you're going on your phone. Bring in that physical Bible just to show them, to show them who you are. I think that's my challenge to you.
Good.
But keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
That's you don't have as much success when you're pushing it down someone's throat.
Yeah.
Just by leading by example, by being that guy.
That's right.
If they know you're the guy to go to for prayer, they're slowly going to learn. They're slowly going to see things in you that they want to. They're going to be like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Why is this guy like this?
Exactly.
And that's one of the coolest compliments you can have.
Definitely.
So keep it going.
Yeah, and I think there's also a rescue there. I think knowing that you have this role, which I would argue, and I think all of us would agree that is perhaps more important in the long term, and being that spiritual leader, someone to look up to as an example. What an awesome blessing and honor it is to be that. And it seems like the Lord has strategically placed you here. But also, there's going to be some spiritual warfare here as well. The enemy is going to make you think that you have to go out of your way and do all these things to have the perfect words to say, to have the perfect answers, to do this, X, Y, and Z, right? But truly the rescue is, man, the Lord's got you. Yeah. And as long as you're pursuing him and intimate with him, he's going to work through you. You're just an extension. You're just a vessel in which he works through. Yeah. And I think that is something I've struggled with. I know you guys have struggled with. Like, I think we put so much pressure on us to do the heavy lifting when he's never asked us to. He's the one doing the heavy lifting. He's the one who's in control of the heart change, the life change of all those around us. Like, who are we to pick that up and think we can lift it? But with that being said, like, I know you're disciplined and you're doing the right things to pursue him in a relationship. And I love your heart. It's like, you may not always see the fruit, but as long as you're pursuing him and acting as a light, man, you're storing up treasures in heaven. And who knows what the impact of that's going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love everything you said there. And I would even say to, like, maybe someone who's new in their faith, who's a little shy, a little nervous about maybe stepping out, man, just meeting where people are, being where people are, and loving them is number one, right? Like, this is what this is all about. Jesus sacrificed his life for us. And so in the same way, we have an opportunity to show love, whatever that looks like, to the people that he's placed in our lives. And man, whether we see that fruit right now or later on, or maybe even if we never see it, man, we can rest in obedience and rest knowing that God's got us and he's the one who's doing the changing. And so I think oftentimes, like, I've certainly overcomplicated it. The enemy's been trying to say you have to have the right words, you have to say this, and sometimes it's not even words. Sometimes it's literally just being there, being present with whatever somebody has going on, being a listening ear, being someone who can pray for someone. Like, it doesn't have to look in this crazy pastoral way, right, of, preaching the gospel. It's very much just living it out. That's right. Is where we start.
Yeah, actions speak so much louder than words. Yeah. Like, I see a lot of people that claim to know Christ, but their actions don't back it up, and that honestly has like a negative impact on what people view Jesus as. And so even if you share with someone your faith, like, back it up with your actions, because obviously we're not gonna be perfect. We're gonna fall short every single day, but like, go out of your way to to really lean into the Holy Spirit and ask for self-control each and every day and ask him to lead you, and your actions will have such a huge impact on what people view Christianity to be. So yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. We got a guy here who's going to contribute to victories on the field, but you're also going to be contributing to, I think, a lot of eternal victory within your team,
Come
man.
on.
So keep it going. Keep being that light, and you definitely have an impact, I can tell. So keep it going, man.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Proud of
it.
you. Wishing the best of luck for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you.
We'll see when you guys view this episode. Hopefully it's after, I don't know, maybe it'll be in the middle of a postseason run after, about then. But
Somewhere in the summer.
Somewhere in the summer, probably. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah.
We hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thanks for sticking with us as always. We love you, and we'll see you next time.